there's good news because these two products are able to reverse both the dysbiosis and the insulin resistance. And by reversing the dysbiosis and the insulin resistance, they go to reverse the energy deficiency that caused the disease conditions. And so if you have a friend, a family member, or you or that person may be you who suffers from any chronic medical condition, the news is good. You can reclaim your health again, by restoring energy deficiencies. And that's what those two nutraceutical products do to you guys. I end by saying this: food is medicine. As in the same way that food is medicine, food is poison. 100 or 200 years ago, our ancestors did not have these problems that we're having today, because their foods were natural. We're not the foods that we ate today. And today, because we're not consuming the natural foods, our modern diet is so devoid of fiber. Our modern diet is so high in carbs. We're faced with an inundation of our cells with, too much calories that causes the energy breakdown that results in these diseases. And this is a simple way to be able to introduce the right foods into your body to be able to restore your health again. So I'm going to end there and I'm going to stop sharing my screen and hand it over to Amory. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That was great. I really appreciated that summary. So thank you so much. What I'm going to do is I want to show you some people who have used this system, as well as I'm going to talk to Keith, who has an experience with this, show you a little bit about his story. I have another person on too, Megan Groth, who I may ask to speak, and then Dr. Tiffany is on as well. But let me just start with some basic pictures of this. I'm only going to show you a couple tonight in the interest of time, but the first one I want to show you is Dr. Dieter. This is our speaker that just told you about the microbiome. The picture on the left is before he'd known about intermittent fasting. Then a lot of starches and carbohydrates from his diet. The second picture is he learned about intermittent fasting. He's been doing it very consistently for 5 years and jogging a couple times a week. The Feel Great system, the Unamate and fiber, this is 2.5 months on that. So even though he was intermittent fasting, he really didn't see the amazing benefits that he could have until 2.5 months on the system. Let me show you. Dr. Kenny went from the hospital bed. This is 32 days apart. So you can see that he was, suffering and just had surgery. In his recovery, a lot of inflammation here. 32 days later, that is resolved. This picture of our friend Michelle, she 60 days apart. And so a lot of what you're seeing in this getting rid of inflammation makes a big difference. So this woman suffered from a lot of feel like autoimmune inflammation related issues that were resolved, and she looks like she's younger. I'm going to go back to Keith's story in just a minute and talk about. You've seen fingernails that look like this. It seems crazy that you can resolve this. Skin issues. This is 3 weeks detoxification with Unamate. That's the yerba mate. And now you see this child has completely clear skin. This one is Angelita, and she was suffering. You can see the difference in her body, but what's more important to her is that she was really suffering from depression, anxiety, had been on meds for almost a decade on a daily basis of a couple of anxiety meds that they couldn't quite fine tune in. She still was feeling symptoms even with the meds. And now she's completely med free. Anxiety, depression, resolution when you heal your gut, and she looks amazing. Here is you see the difference in belly fat. This person had type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, erectile dysfunction. He was really suffering from a lot of the insulin resistance topics that we had talked about, sleep apnea. I mean, this guy literally had everything. Now, he's been using this for several years now, but in the first 90 days, he was able to reverse type 2 diabetes and get rid of that dangerous visceral belly fat. That's what's choking your organs out. It's extremely dangerous. In 50 days, lost 50 pounds. This is a former NFL lineman, psoriasis all over his body, the back of his head for as long as he can remember. and this is psoriasis relief. So that's obviously not Jonathan, but this is Claudia, and she is in her 60s, has had psoriasis since she was a teenager, and was able to get completely clear skin in a couple of months using the system. She added omega 3s as well, reversing type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, gone in days after 20 years of suffering from this. Acid reflux gone, migraines gone, insomnia gone, and no more meds. This is another diabetes, weight loss, diabetes. This person struggled to, he was retired, he's retiring, he's now retired, and he had all these plans of things he wanted to do in retirement, but he couldn't do anything. He had trouble walking up and down stairs. He wanted to work in a shed, he wanted to go fishing. But like this, on type 2 diabetic, on meds all the time, he felt like he felt like garbage. And now he is out fishing, running around, working in his yard, rebuilding his shed, doing a bunch of household remodeling projects because he feels amazing. This is 3.5 months. When she went on this cruise, she needed a cane to walk around the cruise and go up and down the stairs. Now, Dr. Marla does not need a cane. She just walks completely without a cane. She's got rid of the long COVID symptoms, and you can see she's completely normalized her blood work. Brain fog was a huge one for her, and she's been able to eliminate brain fog, and now she goes hiking on a regular basis. When you lose weight through intermittent fasting, notice there's no hanging skin. This is about 60 pounds in 6 months. And when he lost all this weight, you would think that he would have hanging skin, but autophagy during fasting handles that for you. So someone doesn't then need to spend $10,000 on a skin surgery because it's resolved. We see this visceral belly fat melting away and extreme weight loss. Extreme weight loss. We're seeing totally safe without any meds. People, the alternative is injections, and this is a no side effect alternative to use these two plants that come from the earth. This is my husband. And then on this is 3 years using this system, building more muscle mass than he's ever had in his life, working out in a fasted state. So you're not losing muscle mass, he's increasing it, lifting heavy, making a huge difference. Consistently, we're seeing belly fat gone, PCOS resolved. This baby was from a mom who had been struggling with PCS for 10 years. And in 4 months on this system, trying to conceive for 4 years, 4 months on this system, she got pregnant, had a baby, off blood sugar meds. So the results are consistent. I know all of these people personally. These are not strangers. These are people that I have had the opportunity to interact with that have been using this system and have had phenomenal results. So we'll talk a little bit. We're gonna answer some questions. There's a question about dialysis and weight loss. I'm gonna actually have Megan Groth address weight loss, how you can be a healthy weight, use this system. You're not gonna lose weight that you do not have to lose. Keith, I'd love to spotlight you and have you tell your story. I am going to go back to the foot wound picture, and there's demand to see what your foot. There's demand for a picture of what your foot looks like now, Keith, by popular demand. If you have a chance to take a picture of what your foot looks like now. I'm going to show you what a type 2 diabetes foot ulcer looks like. I had never seen this before until I started doing this. I've been doing this, talking about this for 3 years now, this business. I am a chemical engineer by profession. My husband that I showed you a picture of saw this product, started using it, and had phenomenal. I watched him melt before my eyes, get rid of like pain level 10 arthritis. And when I saw what happened to him, I heard about what he was doing. I called the person who gave it to him and said, "Why is my husband melting away?" It was phenomenal. I started doing this business while working full time as a rocket science in missile defense. For 9 months, I replaced my income, and then I've been doing this. I was making about $250,000 as a chemical engineer, replaced my income. So for 2 years, I've been doing this like full time, part time. Have been able to quadruple that income, helping people just like Keith, which is how Keith and I had the opportunity to meet. I'm going to show you his foot ulcer though, because this is this we don't have this in missile defense. This is what an open wound foot ulcer looks like. I know it's a little bit hard to look at, but someone could put their a gloved finger there and actually feel bone. And so this is what Keith looked like before and after, and he even looks younger now than he did here. So Keith, just tell us a little bit about 25 years as a type 2 diabetic, 95% of the time on insulin, and you were on 108 units of insulin with injections six times a day?
Yes, correct.
Day. And in how many days did it take on the system before you did not need insulin injections?
2 days.
It's-
I was able to get off all insulin on day number two. Um, from day one, the word go, I felt different. My energy was through the roof. All my meds have normalized. All my doctors can't, they don't believe it. I mean, but the labs don't lie. So,
Mhm.
all of them are looking into it, especially because it's in the PDR.net.
Mhm.
All they got to do is look it up. It's a, you know, um, I was getting injections in my eyes. I did that for a couple years, trying to get the bleeding to stop. And within a month of being on the protocol, my eyes have I'm no longer getting shots. Um, my eye doctor said he hasn't seen my eyes and haven't looked this good in over 4 years. I was on 15 meds a day. I had two little piles, one for morning time and one for afternoon or evening time. And last I was down to half a med, but I haven't taken it in 3 weeks or
Wow,
haven't had to. So
you're med.
I am all 100% med free now at this point. But yeah, it never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I would have the results that I had.
That is amazing. And one of the things too is that I shared this last time Keith and I were on the Zoom together when I first met Keith. I thought he was 65 years old and I mistakenly said something out loud about that. And he's like, "No, I'm in my 50s." And now you look like you're in your 40s. And we've only known each other for a couple Keith and I have only known each other for a couple months. And every time I see him, every time I'm on a call with him, he looks different than he did. He looks younger, better, healthier, better skin color than he did the last time that I was with him. So it's incredible what happens when we get the medications out of our system, when we get the insulin out of our system. We're not dealing with the side effect for the side effect for the side effect. So if you're on and you're listening to this and thinking like that seems like a crazy story, we all agree with you. This is a great it's a crazy story. We are we have the fortunate opportunity of hearing these crazy stories all day long when we work with people who are doing this. And I have a new picture that I want to share and then I want to bring Megan and Dr. Tiffany on. So this picture is new and it's special to me because this is my family. This is my brother-in-law. He's my husband's baby brother, so he's 10 years younger than my husband, so he's 44 years old. And this is his wife, Becky. I've been married to my husband for over 20 years, so that's how long I've known them. And they have always looked like this. This is how they've always been in gout, diagnosed with fatty liver when she was 20 years old. And this is just 60 days on the system. He's has his gout is better. He's had some bone spurs that he's trying to work on, but I've never seen Becky, my sister-in-law, look like this. So this is August to October. What is that? August, September. Like not quite August is September. So it's like 5 weeks. Is that right? That's crazy. I'm telling you. It's wow. Megan knows these people. Megan knows these people, and this is really phenomenal and exciting. We get to see new stories of, especially when it's people that you love transforming their lives and kind of finally listening, finally listening to like, hey, what are we doing here? We got their attention finally. I want to bring on spotlight two people. I'd like to bring on Dr. Tiffany and Megan. Megan, what I would love to hear from you, Megan is the I don't want to lose any weight people and telling her story because we really get that a lot. So I've known Megan longer than I've known my husband, so more than 20 years. And Megan has always looked like she looks right now. She's thin. I've never seen her heavy. You know, we had babies together, and she still looked like this with a little bit with a little baby bump. Megan, can you talk a little bit about how this is not a weight loss product, this is not a weight loss system, and what happened to you?
Yeah. At first, I really was like, this isn't for me because everything I had, I truly believed was just genetic. Worked out. I was healthy. I was not by any stretch of anyone's imagination overweight. And so, I mean, I had put on a little bit of a menopause belly, but like that would be, I'm usually extremely thin. So no one would notice that. I noticed it. When you bend over, you're like, oh, there's skin I can feel now. That's not good. But weight has never been an issue for me. For me, I had genetic, supposedly genetic, elevated blood pressure, 144/92. That, I mean, I was doing all the things, working out, eating whole food. So it was just genetic. I had migraines in second grade. I was in bed every other week for 2 days, in a dark room vomiting, had chronic headaches all the time. I had debilitating plantar fasciitis in both feet, and I had bursitis flares, frequently in my shoulder, and aches and pains, hip, knees, all that stuff. But we just thought this was just normal. Waking up in the middle of the night two, three, four times to go to the bathroom, that's just part of being in your 50s. So it took me 2 months for Anne-Marie to convince me to give this a shot. And I finally did and was completely blown away that everything I thought was genetic was not. My blood pressure is 106/60. I have not had a migraine since I started the system. I have not had a headache. I've had only one bursitis flare in my shoulder since I've done that. And that was after this is a longer story. Anyway, my feet got better in 3 months. So pretty much every single issue, I have no pain, like zero chronic pain. And it is like getting a completely different body from a life that I lived with pain since second grade, right? Just like normal, this is how you live. So it's a metabolic health. Even if you're thin, 20% of diabetics, type 2 diabetics, are not overweight. So it's not about how you look on the outside. It is about your metabolic health, and weight loss is a side effect. That menopause midsection, the little extra skin there that came on, went away. But in general, it's about getting healthy.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. And Dr. Tiffany is a double board certified physician as well. There's two things that I would love to ask. Like Dr. Tiffany, why would you and Dr. Dieter both are here? Why would a medical professional want to do something like this?
Well, most of us, when we wanted to become doctors, well, let me not say most of us, a lot of my colleagues, a lot of my friends, we chose to become doctors because we wanted to see people healthy. We wanted to see people live their best life. But over time, medicine changed and it became more focused on prescriptions. And unfortunately, people didn't look good. So I was taking care of people across 48 states, and I started to see how many people were coming in there with a basket of prescriptions and decided that wasn't going to be my fate. And neither did I want to keep seeing my patients that way. So I ended up looking at lifestyle medicine, which is about going after the root causes of conditions. I think you have to go to a point to where you're just fed up with the status quo. People aren't better. You don't even feel better. And it becomes an awakening moment. So I had mine, and I started getting on social media, and that's how we got connected, because this was a tool to be able to help my patients stay consistent and help the people I cared about actually have sustainability. So those things that would allow them to fail and to think that they couldn't do these things. They tried keto. They lost 10 pounds and then they gained it right back because they went to a birthday party. They started exercising. They lost 20 pounds. Then they hung out with their friends. So they needed that peer support. They needed that something that could help them turn off the food noise. And it was those simple things that allowed people to feel like they could win. So I not only got to see them do better in their health, I got to see their mindset change. And I became this cheerleader doctor as opposed to the doom and gloom doctor. And that. Ooh.
hmm I love that. And I have huge respect for Dr. Tiffany. And she was in practice when I first met her. And now we work together in this business. During when she was at the time when she was in practice, she had, a handful of people that she got off of meds. But since you've been here, I mean, if you look at all the people that you help, I mean, we're in like the hundreds, maybe thousand, hundreds and hundreds of people that have
Unbelievable.
gotten off of their meds compared to diligently working at this every day in a medical practice and just getting a couple people off. So it's definitely more rewarding to see people get better, to see your family members that have been suffering and struggling. Our goal is to have people extend their lives. So the best years of we're living longer, big deal, but we're living longer in institutions in nursing care in a wheelchair, not knowing what day it is. That is not life. So what we're doing here is we're helping people keep their minds, get their minds back, keep their minds, and live our best life, but live our best years out feeling amazing. That's what we're doing here. Keith, there's a specific question for you that I was hoping you would address, and it goes something like this. If you well, let me find it. It just kind of like what'd you do? Like walk us through your day. How they said something like, how seriously did you take this? But but walk us through what did you change? What do you do? What does the day look like?
Before I started the protocol, my day looked like I woke up at about 6:30 in the morning. I went directly after taking my meds. I ran directly to McDonald's, had my breakfast, and then I would eat, kind of graze throughout the day. And then at dinner, I mean, I love pizza. I love Italian food. I love food in general. And I would just eat but then I'd immediately fall asleep. So when I started taking the protocol in June of this year, you wake up every morning, you mix up a tea. It's very simple. If you're interested and you want it, they give you the bottle, tells you where to put the fluid for the tea and the balance. But I mix up one of these, I sip on it until about lunchtime. I no longer snack at all. And I thought it was going to be harder than it is, but the tea really, I believe, made all the difference. And then after lunch, I've never been a big lunch eater. So I just mix up a second tea. I drink it all the way up until dinner time. And then right before my biggest meal, or my pretty much my only meal that I do, I know a lot of people do 2 meals a day. It's totally fine. I take the fiber, and they're both clinically proven. They they work better than most of your statins, meds, cholesterol, blood pressure. It works more than that. And then usually after dinner, I mix up a tea just to get me, so if I wake up in the middle of the night for whatever reason, I can take a sip, and then I usually go right back to bed.
You don't get up and say, oh, I'm laying here, what's in my refrigerator? I think someone
Exactly. I just
there's
set
cake
this right on the
there. You're like,
nightstand right next to me. So I just take a sip and
back
right
to
back out I go. And within the first, like I started to say earlier, in the first 60 days, I lost 65 pounds and lost 10 and a half inches on my waist. And that's the only side effect that you'll notice is your outfits will no longer fit. You'll be buying new clothes, which I'm not opposed to. I don't believe anyone here is opposed to buying new wardrobe, but
Mhm.
yeah, it's insanely simple.
It's almost that incremental wardrobe though, right? Where we're like, oh,
Yes.
wait, I need new pants. Wait, another couple of weeks went by. I need new pants. I need new pants. When you have a waist like that you have to work on for sure. So
Yeah.
what we have seen in the years that I've watched people doing this, they don't get sick of this system. And when someone is on keto, we believe no one here is like, oh, keto is bad. Like we're like, yeah, keto's great. I don't know anyone who's been using keto for 3 years. They just get tired of it. It's hard. They want to go to a party. They're hanging out with their friends and family, and they're always doing something a little bit off. They're always like kind of, when one of my good friends, Paul, when he comes to stay with us, he's making these like buckets and bucket plates of bacon for lunch and dinner, and and it's working where he's thinking then, but it's weird, right? It's very odd when he comes. It's kind of strange. And what we do is normal. Like it creates normalcy in your life because no one cares if you skip breakfast. They don't even notice. They don't even know. And so we often skip breakfast or we skip a meal and no one cares, and we're not snacking throughout the day. And years and years and years go by, and this is just easy to do. You don't have to stay on it. It's not addictive. You can use it one day and not use it the next day, and you won't be as happy, but your body is not physically addicted to any of these products. You just feel better. Dr. Dieter, I wanted you and if you and Dr. Tiffany could come on and address if there's any more questions for Keith, we can bring him back on. Thanks, Keith, so much for sharing your story and walking us through your day. And it's like not that your lifetime in your 50s, a lifetime of on every diet trying to solve this problem and then solving it for months in with this simple system. So totally afford it. $5 a day to do the whole system. So thank you. And Dr. Dieter, there's a question about dialysis. Can you and Dr. Tiffany handle the dialysis question?
Yeah, before we do handle the dialysis question, can you share the testimony about the lady in Quebec City whose son is on dialysis and doing well? And then we'll speak to that. We'll speak after that. Remember the lady in Quebec City who
Yeah,
you
the one that came that drove 7 hours
Yes,
to
yes,
come see
yeah,
us and come tell us because she was
yeah.
so excited when we were in Montreal. She came over and told us. So he's a younger gentleman, has been on had been on dialysis. She just came because she was so excited. She had to tell us. Her personally, she found that for the first time she didn't have to fold herself out of a chair. And I have a video of this, but she's just like, look, I can stand up and sit down. People usually would be like, okay, all right, it's time to stand up. And she would have to wait, fold herself out of a chair and get up. So if you know anyone who's struggling with that, which I feel like I'm in meetings with many people and they not on the system and they're struggling. And then they use this system and a couple weeks later they just stand up. They just stand up from a chair. Her son been on dialysis. And what he found was that he saw continued improvement in his kidney health almost immediately and started to see what many people are trying to do is they're trying to get on a transplant list. In doing that, they use this system to help get better. So he saw really immediate rapid improvement. Anything else, Dr. Dieter, about the story of Linda's son?
Yeah, I think his energy levels also, he could tell that, he was not zapped and he could
Mhm.
just, in terms of functional status, he could just tell that, he was not as wiped out being a dialysis patient than he was before. Yeah.
And the depression, so the many dialysis patients are chronically depressed because it is a really tough experience to go through. And she noticed already he was smiling, he was in a better mood, he was conversational when she called him. Yep.
Yeah, and just to add, it's safe to use in dialysis. There is no I always say this, there's no contraindication. Say this is food. This is made 100% from plants which are food. So just like there's no contraindication to eat, food, there's no contraindication for you to take this when you're on dialysis. And
Mhm.
so,
So the liquid question, I think
Well,
Dr. Tiffany is
yeah.
what they're getting at.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only other thing is you have restrictions on the amount of liquids. That's all. And so make sure it fits within your requirements, depending on what your provider's saying. That's all.
Mhm. And we see people with stage 4, one of my good friends, Troy, who is often on this call, he's not today. It's a conference, but he is a stage 4 kidney failure. With one kidney, he had donated one of his kidneys to a family member, and the kidney that he had, this guy's in his 40s, started failing, and he was getting very concerned. He, started going to the gym and watching what he was eating, and still really wasn't seeing a lot of help. He got on this, and within a couple months, he had taken stage 4 kidney disease down to no kidney disease, no stage kidney disease. So yeah, we see that.
Mhm.
And part of what he did this on a cruise. He went on a cruise eating skipping breakfast but eating whatever he wanted that he was able to kick off.
Yeah. And what I will add to that is that these energy deficiencies that we're talking about, I had a chat that it drives inflammation. These disease processes all go through inflammation. It's inflammation that causes you to have kidney problems. It's inflammation that, adds to you having atherosclerosis and all of that stuff. So what this does is it goes and reverses the inflammatory, goes and resolves the inflammation taking place and by so doing begins to reverse the kidney issue, the artery issue, and what have you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I love how you explain that.
Mhm.
Oh, did you see the chemo question?
I didn't. Yeah, I'll let you guys take that one as well.
Tiffany, do you have anybody on chemo? I have somebody on chemo, and they
I
tolerating
do
it.
not. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, they're tolerating it well. The person I have on chemo has stage 4 colon cancer, and is receiving chemotherapy and says that it helps her in recuperation. After chemo,
Yeah,
you could be zapped with energy. It was zapped from,
yeah.
and she says it helps her to be able to recuperate, has her recuperation period, feels stronger. So yes. There is some
Wow.
benefit to that. Yeah.
And
And that
even
makes sense. That's what I thought anyway. Yeah. So I love
and
that you have an actual account. Love that.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that is great. And even after surgery, where I had a nurse who was using the system that used it for 1 month, lost 10 pounds, was feeling better inflammation, and then had to have very serious knee surgery where she could not move. She was on the couch for 1 month. She lost another 10 pounds, but it wasn't really about the weight loss. It was just like she saw this immediate inflammation. When she went back to her doctor was completely impressed by how well she was healing because you're able to get that inflammation down quickly.
Yeah.
And then
Doctor,
Yvette would like to, Dr. Yvette would also like to say something about that too. Okay. You should be able to unmute Dr. Yvette.
Yes. So hi. Oh, okay. So yeah, so has a customer who just bought the product, and she's also a cancer patient. So she took it to her oncologist, and they said it was okay for her to use it. That it's all natural product. She took it to the pharmacist. They checked everything, and they said it was perfectly okay for her to use it. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you. Thanks for Dr. Yvette. That's helpful. Okay. I think we've answered all the questions that are in the chat. So I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Tiffany to close us out. If you're someone that is here, you've been invited here because someone cared about you and got a chance to hear about the science that we have. We don't have enough people sharing what we're doing. And sometimes there's a timing associated with, 3 years I've been talking to my brother and sister-in-law about it. And when they're ready, they're ready, right? When they're ready, they're ready, and their life can completely change when that is. So we're looking for people who are interested in helping us get the word out about this because we're not advertising on TV, primarily advertising on social media. And if that's you, Dr. Dieter, did you have any final words that you wanted to share as well before I hand it over to Dr. Tiffany to close us out?
yeah, I'll go back. I was listening to uh, a YouTube show this week, and it talked about a recent study done in Tanzania where 20 years ago, Tanzanians did not have all these communicable diseases, but now these communicable diseases are rampant. And there was a researcher on the show and who said this is all linked to fiber, that we're not having, and linked to metabolic dysfunction, which is causing that. And the researcher was saying they had been in Tanzania for 20 years and they were shocked to return and see that Tanzania had transformed from infectious diseases to communicable diseases, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. So I go back to say that these things are lifestyle. Our ancestors did not have this because, their foods were rich in fiber and they did not consume enough. They did not consume so many carbs. So the day and age that we live in, unfortunately, we are not able to do that with the same ease. These products give you the opportunity to introduce fiber into your diet, as well as reverse the metabolic dysfunction, battling the food company and everything going on just by introducing this into your diet, helps you. In fact, that study showed that within 2 weeks of people being on this, they tested them and their inflammatory levels had gone down. This is a study done in Tanzania, not on this product, just having them consume a high amount of fiber. Their inflammatory levels went from here to here in 2 weeks. So you can start seeing amazing transformation. And this is the same concept we're using here. It's just simple and a sachet, which can help you to be able to restore your health. So we want as many people to be able to know that these are lifestyle issues. We know life is hard in terms of, making these choices. This choice can be easily made for you in these sachets, just introducing them into your diet to begin reclaiming your health.
Yeah, that's so key. And you have a 90-day, the manufacturer gives you a 90-day money back guarantee. So let's say you try it for any reason, you are not satisfied, they will let you try it for 90 days, give you your money back because it works so effectively. We do have a new fasting app that helps you keep track of your use of the products, your fasting, how long you've been fasting, and it really helps you if you're someone who sets goals like many of us do. You can watch and see where we're at. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Tiffany, take it away. Help us close this.
Well, you know what? I just got back literally from a long drive with my mom, who is turning 74 tomorrow. And she said something to me. She said, I am so blessed to be turning 74. I didn't see that coming for me. Because see, her cousins, multiple cousins, their parents all died at the age of 49. I'm 48 of metabolic health symptoms, cancers, blood pressure, diabetes, amputations. And so here I am now at my age thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I knew about something like this. My father, 20 years ago, same thing, didn't want to take medications, died of diabetes complications after his third stroke. So talking to my mom today, and her thing that resonates with me, it was her saying, I wish I had more time with him. I wish I had more time with your father. So I am pleading to anyone who knows they have family members, because I know you do. I mean, Dr. Dieter did a great presentation on this. We know how many people are struggling. I know you do. At the very least, sharing this with them so you no longer have to be the one saying, I wish I had more time with them. Or if it's you, how about you take care of yourself so your family isn't saying that? And so I hope that resonates with someone. And yes, we need people to spread this word. Your voice is needed because too many people are dying and struggling.
Thank you. And to add to that, Dr. Tiffany, we're going to, when you tell your family members about this, you could invite them. We do these calls 3 times a week, Sunday, Monday, and Friday. So we're going to be doing exactly the same call tomorrow using the exact same link. So you can just share this link with them, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and they can join and listen to this information themselves too. So,
Yes.
all right.
All right.
Thank you, guys.